Okay, today we're going to be replacing the washer in this faucet. Now, I got to tell you, this is an old Chicago faucet, and it's about 85, 90 years old because the house was built in 1923. Now, what I will tell you is, after we pull this stem, chances are it's the washer, not the seat. Well, how do I know that? Well, it got to the point where I really couldn't shut off the water. And that's usually a telltale sign that the rubber washer has deteriorated to the point where it cannot block the flow of water and it's not seating well in the seat. So what you want to do is you want to make certain that you turn off the water first. Now, the first thing we're going to do is you're just going to remove this handle here. And what I'll do is I'm going to unscrew it. All right, I'm going to remove this. Now, chances are I'm not going to be able to just lift off the handle because it hasn't been removed in a very long time. It's not going to lift off of there, but it's designed to do such. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a couple taps. I've got a pair of channel locks here. I'm just going to tap up on it. Like over here. Pretty close. I wonder if I take the channel locks, I might be able to lift it up off of there. And there we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this. This is just this is screwed on. It's holding this in place. And what I'm going to use, believe it or not, I'm going to use a pipe wrench. Well, what's the reason for that? Well, this has not been removed in a very long time. If I tried to use a pair of channel locks on it, I doubt very seriously if I'd be able to budge it. So I'm going to use a pipe wrench because it's really designed for round surfaces. So I'm going to get it on there. You know, that's why I like using a pipe wrench, because it really is made for situations just like this. See? And then you get to the point where you can just take it off by hand. Now, I like to put what I'm removing in order, okay? Because it's going to make it easier for me to remember, all right? So I'm going to put that in order. And actually, I think I'm going to take that little screw, this little screw here, stick it right in there so I don't lose it. So just as you remove things, make certain that you place it in order, because when it comes time to reassemble, it'll be a snap. Now, what's the next thing that needs to be removed? Well, this is the stem here. And to remove the stem, we have to remove this nut right here. Now, I've got my pipe wrench set on it, and it's pretty built up with calcium. This hasn't been removed in a long time, so it's going to take a little bit of effort to get this undone. There we go. That's it. Now I can do it just by hand. There we go. That's what it looks like. And what I will tell you is, if you notice here, there is no washer. Can you get a close-up of that? See this black right here? That's where the washer was. It has worn away so much that you can't close it. Okay, so what we need to do to replace this washer here is we need to unscrew this nut here. This came easily off, okay? But yours may not. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to set that nut aside. There's a little tiny metal washer I'm going to take off. And remember, we want to place this in order, okay? Little metal washer right here. Now, this we may have a little bit of difficulty getting this cap and washer off, so I may have to take a pair of vice grips or channel locks and try to work it a little bit. Now, I don't want to bend this because this is a little metal cap here. I don't want to bend that out of shape, so I don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on, just enough to work it a little bit, to work it off of there. I'm going to spin it. There we go, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Now, what I like to do is I always like to have various sizes of rubber washers on hand, because you never know what size washer you may need. Now, this I'm going to have to pick the washer, there's like a little rubber washer. I'm going to have to pick that out of the metal cap here. There's a little cap. So I need to find something to remove that. You don't want to apply too much pressure around the cap because you don't want to bend that out of shape. I've just got enough pressure to hold the cap in place with these needle nose vice grips. So I'm going to take a utility knife and I'm going to try to pry the washer out of there. That was easy. So this is our new washer. We're just going to set that in place like that. That's all we need. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cap and I'm going to insert it on the end. It's got to go a little further down. It's got to really get a little closer because I'm going to need to put the nut back on the back. Okay, so I've got my cap. There's my washer. My washer is on. There's the end. That's the threaded screw where I'm going to place that nut. But first, remember there was the little washer. I'm going to put that washer on and I'm going to work in reverse. Now I'm going to put on my nut. I'm going to tighten it up. Now I want to show you how a faucet works, right? Now this faucet currently, the stem is in the open position. Okay, there's a gap there between the washer and the seat. And when you turn the handle, it closes up. It closes up the flow of water. And when you turn it, you open it up to the flow of water. And it's this washer here that prevents the water flow. And it really is as simple as that. So when your washer starts to go bad, it can't prevent the flow of water. Now I want to say this. This faucet stem is like I said, 85 to 90 years old. And it's the original. And your stem may be a little different. Sometimes you have the washer on the very end and you have the seat inside. Sometimes there's a brass seat inside here. This setup is a little different because it's almost reversed. The washer is seating itself against this washer is seating itself against this seat. See? Now what we're going to do now is we're going to insert it. Before we get started, these threads here, we need to put a little thread sealant. Put a little sealant on there. So we're going to do just insert it and screw it in place. Just take your time. Don't be intimidated by the process. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Now I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit more. I want to test my handle here, make certain that it's turning the way it should. Yeah, that's it. You know what? These old faucets, you're not turning the handle forever and ever. It's just like half a turn, and that's really it. Okay, so that's good. Now we're going to put the other parts in place. Put that cap back on. We're going to insert this screw nut that holds that in place. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. And I think I'm going to just use a pair of channel locks to tighten it. That's good. Now the next thing we do is we put that handle on there. The handle on. That's seated very well. Put that screw in. And then we're just going to tighten it up. Okay, so everything's tight. I've got the screw back in. Handle's on good. Handle's not flopping. It's secure. We'll test it one more time. And that's exactly the way I want it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the water supply and we're going to see how it works. So now it's time to check and make certain that the washer is operating the way it should. Let's turn the handle. There we go. Now let's try turning it off.